Day 13 in our study of Proverbs. We are on Proverbs 13 today. Intelligent children listen to their parents. Foolish children do their own thing. The good acquire a taste for helpful conversation. Bullies push and shove their way through life. Careful words make for a careful life. Careless talk may ruin everything. Indolence wants it all and gets nothing. The energetic have something to show for their lives. A good person hates false talk. A bad person wallows in gibberish. A God-loyal life keeps you on track. Sin dumps the wicked in the ditch. A pretentious, showy life is an empty life. A plain and simple life is a full life. The rich can be sued for everything they have, but the poor are free of such threats. The lives of good people are brightly lit streets. The lives of the wicked are dark alleys. Arrogant know-it-alls stir up discord, but wise men and women listen to each other's counsel. Easy come, easy go, but steady diligence pays off. Unrelenting disappointment leaves you heartsick, but a sudden good break can turn life around. Ignore the word and suffer. Honor God's commands and grow rich. The teaching of the wise is a fountain of life, so no more drinking from death-tainted wells. Sound thinking makes for gracious living, but liars walk through a rough road. Sound thinking makes for gracious living, but liars walk a rough road. A common-sense person lives good sense. Fools litter the country with silliness. Irresponsible talk makes a real mess of things, but a reliable reporter is a healing presence. Refuse discipline and end up homeless. Embrace correction and live an honored life. Souls who follow their hearts thrive. Fools bent on evil despise matters of soul. Become wise by walking with the wise. Hang out with fools and watch your life fall to pieces. Disaster entraps sinners, but God-loyal people get a good life. That is the end of chapter 13, and again, there are just a couple things that really stood out to me. I had to actually look up a few of the verses and commentary on this. We again read from the Message Bible. It is a translation, and so I went back and I read the New International Version and the Spirit-Filled Life Bible. And then I read some commentary on stuff because there were some things that I didn't really understand what Solomon was trying to get across. So I'm just going to highlight those things in case you're like me. If you understood it all, well, then this is probably superfluous information for you. Let's see. It starts up in verse 7. A pretentious, showy life is an empty life. I think that a lot of us would agree with that. A plain and simple life is a full life. The rich can be sued for everything they have, but the poor are free of such threats. That's verse 8. I really had to look that up in a couple different things, because even just the verses, the different translations didn't really make sense to me. I didn't understand what he was trying to say, so I had to go into some commentaries where they really break down the language, the verb structure, all that stuff. So what this is trying to say is the rich can be sued for everything they have. It's like being rich is great in some respects. You have enough food, you have enough shelter, you have a lot of things. And let's be honest, like a lot of us probably wouldn't mind being rich. Being rich does not mean that you are without trouble. Right? So if you're rich, people are able to take stuff from you. They can sue you. They can, they can cozy up to you and try to get stuff from you. So being rich, while maybe it is a more comfortable life, it is not without its troubles. But the poor are free of such threats. So I kind of saw that as like, well, okay, are we supposed to be poor? And looking into the commentary, it was more like nobody can take anything from you, and the truths that God has set forth still apply. You work hard, you live an honorable life, you treat people honorably, and you can become rich, right? And rich being rich in life, rich in comforts, rich in family. Like when the Bible says rich, it's not always just talking about money, right? Moving down to verse 18 and 19, I wanted to give a few comments on those separately, but I wanted to first read them in the New International Version. Verse 18, whoever disregards discipline comes to poverty and shame, but whoever heeds correction is honored. This made me think of my generation and how many articles are being written about how millennials work in the workplace. And I think a lot of it comes from the big change in parenting that we were sort of the first people to go through. And this idea that disciplining is mean, right? But disciplining isn't mean. Disciplining, and we're not talking about physical abuse, we are talking about correction. When you correct another person who is doing wrong or who has seen things completely wrong, that is not mean. That is love. You are showing the person how things need to be done. And so I immediately thought of when I started working as a very young college student and being corrected on my clothing, my hairstyle. At first, I took a lot of the correction personally, and I had a very difficult time not being really offended and not wanting to, I really wanted to thrash out at them and sort of leave the job behind and quit. And I remember expecting my roommates to be on my side when they would say, it's your boss and he has the right to tell you how to dress at his business and how you can have your hair done and dyed. I did have pink hair at the time. And nobody was on my side. Everyone was really, really corrected my thinking and saying, if you want to work at this job, you're going to have to follow the guidelines that they had. And that surprised me, but the correction was so needed. I needed to hear that, and I thank God for the love that my roommates had for me and telling me the truth. And I did have a bit of pride about it, but I re-dyed my hair to a normal color. I changed my attitude on my clothes, and I went back to work because I needed the job, and the economy of the place that I was living at the time was not good enough to just drop that job and move on. And I think that was on purpose. God was putting me in a place to learn correction. And that was real love from my roommates, and I really, really appreciate it. I often think of it. And this really goes into one of the last verses, verse 24. A refusal to correct is a refusal to love. Love your children by disciplining them. And contrary to what a lot of people want to claim who have never read the Bible really distinguishes between discipline, which is loving correction, and putting the child on the path to living a good life, to understanding the world around them, and to acting in a manner in which is appropriate. And the Bible differentiates that from physical abuse. And we'll actually see that in a couple chapters in Proverbs. But if you love your children, you are going to correct them. I correct my kids. They're little still. Let me tell you, if you don't have kids, if you let kids run around free and wild, they will end up crazy. And no one will like them, not even you. And you know what I'm talking about if you have little kids. Because they're little tiny tyrants as toddlers. And because they are so needy of the mother and the father, somebody to take care of them, you treat them like a king or queen, right? Because they can't do anything for themselves. And so you have to slowly over the years wean them from that, because you can't treat them like babies, Like, my 10-year-old does not need to have everything done for her. She needs to be corrected and guided and taught to do things for herself and how to see things from different angles and all this. So, disciplining your children is not being mean to your children. Disciplining your children is correcting them lovingly, showing them how to conduct themselves, how to not bring strife and discord into not only the family but into society, how to see things differently. Correcting, disciplining your children is actual true love. And so the very last commentary, I want to go back to verse 19 and read that from the New International Version. It says, "A longing fulfilled is sweet to the soul, but a fool detests turning from evil." So this goes back, I believe, into your God-given purpose on earth. And it is sweet, so sweet, to find out what that is and to work towards it and to see it being fulfilled. But a fool doesn't even want to search for that. They don't want to turn from evil. They don't want to find their purpose if it means standing in awe of God. They want to keep going down the destructive path. You know, they turn away from God, turn away from his purpose. But it is really, really sweet when you find out what he created you for, when you realize by getting to know him more that your longings to be an artist in business, marketing, teaching, whatever, that he created you to have that longing to do that. And when you can step into it and see it fulfilled, it is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So that ends our study of chapter 13. I will be back tomorrow with chapter 14. If you like this video, please click like, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends and family, and I will see you next time.